Um, Dear my comrades, today I would like to share with you something completely different. And it's about the lessons that I've learned in this quarantine as a single father. There are many people out there who are in this quarantine and they are in different situations. Everyone was in a certain kind of situation by the time the quarantine arrived. So all of us have different experiences, and I think it is my pleasure to sit down and share with the population, share with others about my experience as a single father, how I've managed my home, my children, as a single father. I know there are many people out there. Some are married, some are single like me, some are single fathers, some are single mothers. Whatever situation you are in, some are rich, some are poor, some are rich but they're actually tired of their homes. You find that the poor ones are enjoying their home, small home. You find a rich man, a rich couple that is in the bungalow, that is in the flat, and they are suffering more than even these ones who are in a single room. So that's how God created nature. And in fact, beauty lies in the difference. Beauty lies in the diversity of things. Your problem may not be my problem. Their problem may not be your problem. So we face life differently, and it is only God who knows why life is so. Because there are certain things in life that the human mind cannot comprehend. There are certain problems in life that the human head cannot, the human being cannot solve. Not every problem in this world that can be solved by man. Some problems have no human solution. And some things may never be interpreted by the human mind. So certain things we need to leave them to God to interpret them for us. Because that one who created you without you will save you without you. You found yourself born on earth without having asked anyone to be born. Did you ask anyone that let me be born? Please give birth to me? No. You find yourself on earth living like any other being without having asked anyone before to create you. So, certain things do not have human solution. Therefore, that person who created you without you will save you without you. This is the message of hope that I'm passing over to a whole generation of people out there who seem to be stuck, who seem to be overwhelmed. You never knew that you would live. If you look into your past, you may never want to even look at it. And you may never even explain exhaustively how you managed to go through your past. So this is a message of hope, and I call it hope against all hope. Hoping against all hope is a philosophical term or theological term that was experienced by Abraham, our father in faith. Abraham hoped against all hope. He was already 90, approaching 100. His wife Sarah was approaching 70, 80, 90, and he had no child. And God promised him a child. He would have asked, but look at me, I'm old. Look at my wife, she's old. But Abraham believed, had faith in God, even when there was no hope. So we call it hoping against all hope. This is the message I'm passing on to Ugandans and everyone out there. Today I was inspired to talk about suffering, human suffering. I remember I did a thesis about suffering. And what is suffering? Suffering is one of the fundamental concepts that have never been fully and exhaustively explained to humankind. First of all, suffering, no one wants suffering. No one wants to see suffering. Okay? When suffering comes, all of us take off. But again, where do we take off to? There are many people, scholars, pastors, who have come out to try and interpret this word suffering. And there are many churches that have emerged. There are many people who come up and claim. All churches come up and tell people that their foundation is built against suffering. Man must not suffer. But no one has the problem. No one has the solution to human suffering. They find themselves in the same situation. So what is this concept of suffering? Suffering is in two ways. We have the physical suffering and we have the ontological suffering. Physical suffering is the suffering of the body, the hard situations and all that, the environment. But again, we have a very serious type of suffering called ontological suffering. For a layman's language, you can call it psychological suffering, depression. This is the kind of suffering that is in Europe and in the advanced countries. Those people do not suffer like we do. Their suffering may not be so physical. Their suffering is more of ontological. Ontological, I mean the inside suffering of man, the unphysical suffering of man. That suffering is embedded within man, inside man. And that suffering normally leads to suicide in Europe. You find someone is very rich, they have everything, they have the bungalow, they have everything. But you find that someone goes ahead and commits suicide. Finds no meaning to life. That is what we call ontological suffering. The physical suffering, you all aware, you know it. We are going through this hard time. Some of us, or many people, are suffering physically and also ontologically. I had someone killed her child in Ginger. The child just broke a plate or something like that. And the woman beat her child and killed her, and she's the real mother of the real biological mother of the child. So the causes of those are all called ontological suffering. So ontological suffering is so big and so wide that maybe we need a whole day to explain what it is. So, when we are born, what people look at and get to know that this child is fine, that child must cry. The moment a woman produces a baby and that baby does not cry, immediately people say there's a problem. Maybe the child is already dead. But the sign that the child is well, is normal, the child automatically cries. And that is what we call that the child is okay. So what does this crying mean? Immediately after the baby is born in this world, it means that where you have entered is a suffering world. The struggles of life have begun. Now here ecology comes in and says survival for the fittest. You hear the history of the dinosaurs. They all extinguished. They were so huge, and time came and had no space. The ecology system evicted them. So if you are not going to endure suffering and know how to go about suffering, automatically the world is going to exit you, because this is a suffering world. There are people you see suffering. There's a lady who one time shared with me. This lady was a Spanish. She was suffering a lot with her husband. The husband was a drunkard. This person could go drink, come back late in the night, and urinate on the children. Very pathetic characters, unthinkable. And this woman suffered for over 10 years. The man could go and anyway, the man could go, come back, and then could take his kids to the streets, beg, and the money they would beg, he would come and pick from the kids, go and drink, come back in the night, urinate on the children. imagine that immense suffering. So what is suffering? The human brain has never defined exhaustively what suffering is. So I want you to tune in the next episode. When I come back, I'll explain to you these ontological words that probably no human mind has been able to comprehend and explain to conclusion. Bye for now.